This is the Bible Touchstone. I'm just responding to a video from bobbo345. I think he's sincere when he asks this question for Trinitarians, so I'm going to do my best to adequately answer his question. Basically, he asks if God is a Trinity, if he's revealed himself to be in three separate and distinct persons with separate and distinct wills, but is in one God, he's revealed himself to be one God. If that version of Trinitarianism is correct, and mankind was created in the image and likeness of God, then why is man not in the Trinity? I first would like to mention that any kind of explanation such as mankind is body, spirit, and soul, that's a Trinity, well, I would say that those are very inadequate and erroneous ways to describe the Trinitarian nature of God. So they're definitely not adequate. I wouldn't want to give any kind of explanation like that. So I do want to go over first this text that he alludes to, Genesis 1:26, and God said, "Let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth." Now, let's examine the question also that bobbo345 asked. It's almost like he's trying to suppose that man, being in the image and likeness of God, must also reflect all the attributes of God's essence or his nature or how he's revealed himself. But we don't find that to be the case at all, and I don't think bobbo345 is willing to hold on to the consistency of his question. Basically, why is mankind not omniscient? Why is mankind not all-powerful? Why is he not holy, just, and good? Why is mankind not sovereign? Why is mankind in the bondage of sin? Those kind of things. Also, why is mankind not invisible? Definitely, the Bible says that the Father has not been seen at any time. No man has seen God at any time, except for the express image and person of God, who is Jesus Christ, the Son. So I want to look over some texts here. Basically, when we look at how image and likeness is defined, because I think we should define what that means in order to really get any kind of grasp of it. And a lot of folks have suggested that this is an idiom, and they may have different ideas or interpretations what it means besides the actual meaning of the words image and likeness. But let's look how it's used throughout the scriptures. Basically, when I look up image and likeness in the scriptures, the only times I find it here is in Genesis 1:26, for example, but also when Adam begets his son Seth, it says that he begot Seth in his image and likeness. In his own fallen, depraved, wicked nature, Seth was then born as such. And then also all the multiple mentions of graven images which are in the likeness of things in heaven or in earth. So when we see a graven image, it doesn't have all the essential attributes of the thing that it represents. It's just a representation of it. It's a graven image, and it's like it, but it's definitely, if I made a image of a creeping thing or a bird or something, and I carve it out of stone or whatever, and I make it look like it, or I do a piece of artwork reflecting it, it doesn't necessarily have the essential properties so much. It's not alive, for example, all those kind of things. So when we talk about the image and likeness of God, it doesn't necessarily infer that we're going to inherit everything absolutely. Certainly Adam was created exceedingly good or very good, but he was also mutable and he fell from that. Let's look how it's defined here in Romans 1:23, where it says that they, or I would say are the Jews, or those idolaters who changed the glory of an uncorruptible God into the image and like to corruptible man, to birds, four-footed beasts, and creeping things. So in this case, an image made like unto corruptible man doesn't necessarily suggest that it inherits all the properties or essential properties of it. Also, we notice that in Romans chapter 8 it says that we've been conformed into the image of his Son. Also, 1 Corinthians 11, verse 7, I think this one suggests that mankind still has some image of God, or at least man does, because it says, man indeed not cover his head for so much as he is the image and glory of God, but the woman is the glory of man. It doesn't necessarily infer from this that women also are in the image of God, but they are certainly in the glory of the men, and the man is in the glory of God, or um, some kind of craftsmanship from God. God created something. Also, 1 Corinthians chapter 15:49, where it says, "And we have borne the image of the earthly," that is, earthy, as in we were created, a living soul under Adam's federal headship, under his likeness, because it says he created Seth in his image and likeness, and we also are under him. But we shall also bear the image of the heavenly. So here again, also 2 Corinthians 3:18, we're being changed in from glory to glory, from one old glory into a new glory, even by the Spirit of the Lord. And also 2 Corinthians 4:4, Christ, he's the image of God. Also Colossians 1:15, Christ is the image of the invisible God, not so much mankind. Hebrews 1:3, that Christ is the express image in his person. And even in Romans 8, for example, we see another theme when Jesus takes on the characteristics of a man. It says, God sending his own Son in the likeness of sinful flesh, and for sin, condemned sin in the flesh. So there was a different sort of likeness, even though man still had some image of God after his glory. It still didn't share the same likeness as far as his attributes go, because the likeness of sinful flesh is not like God. Again, in Philippians 2, verse 7, he made himself of no reputation and took upon the form of a servant and was made in the likeness of men. So these kind of themes, when we actually define our terms here about what the image and likeness of God actually means, basically it's shown that your question has some categorical errors that should first be addressed, and once those are addressed, then we find really the question isn't categorically accurate at all. So as always, grace be to you.